Plaintiff Jacqueline Rice dated the defendant, and when their daughter was 2 months old, she died of sudden infant death syndrome. Jacqueline claims even though she and the defendant were still dating, he showed up to their daughter's funeral with another woman, and she's suing him today for child support. Defendant Jason Parsons says after his daughter passed away, he self-medicated with marijuana and alcohol. Jason claims he still loves Jacqueline, and he hopes their family can reconcile after today.
Tell me what happened.
2004, Jason and I had met in high school. We were friends. 2006, we had ended up getting into a relationship. We had our very first son. Jason, actually, when I found out I was pregnant, I was going to break up with him because I had found out that he was cheating on me. But because I was pregnant, I decided to just kind of stick it out with him, try to make the relationship work. In 2008, we had our second child, Ariel. She passed away in March of 2009. She was 2 months old from SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome.
Sorry to hear that.
When she passed, we had her funeral, and Jason had brought a female that I had suspected him of cheating on me with to the funeral.
How long had you all been separated?
We was not separated at the time. Not that I know of. I mean,
go ahead.
As far as I knew, we were still together.
How did that go?
Going back to the day that our daughter passed away, we had marijuana in our house. They did a search of our apartment. They found the marijuana. Because they found the marijuana, they had took custody of our oldest son, Adrian. She passed away in March of 2009. She was 2 months old from SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome.
Sorry to hear that.
When she passed, we had her funeral, and Jason had brought a female that I had suspected him of cheating on me with to the funeral.
Plaintiff Jacqueline Rice dated the defendant, and she claims after their daughter passed away, he showed up to her funeral with another woman.
How old was your son?
He was 2 at the time, almost 3. So basically, we lost both of our children in the same day. Children's Services had requested us to complete a family program. Jason wasn't so good at trying to fulfill that program, so I pretty much ended up doing it all on my own to regain custody of my son. It took me a whole year.
What did you have to do?
Drug and alcohol counseling, 4 days a week, 6 hours at a time, back and forth. During this time, I found out I was pregnant. So at that time, they took our oldest son. I ended up completing the program a whole year to the date later. Well, I completed the program in 6 months, but I did not regain custody until a day to the date of my daughter's death. I regained custody back of him. Jason had basically denied paternity of our youngest son, and Children's Services had said, hey, we want you to take this DNA test. It ended up coming back that he was the father of our youngest, so they put him on child support.
When was that?
That was in 2009.
How old was the child then?
When I did the paternity test, Callan was only maybe 4 months old at that time.
All right. So he was held responsible financially since the child was 4 months old.
Correct.
But obviously hasn't paid enough, or he's at least $5,000 in arrears. Let me hear from you, sir. We'll get back to the specifics on the child support.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd like to say I'd love to have my family back. Jackie, I told you this plenty of times that I'm still in love with you. Besides that.
When did you all break up?
Oh.
But you want your family back. Didn't you say 09?
Yeah.
That's 10 years ago. Man, she gone. she been gone. What she talking about? You ain't paid your child support. It's been 10 years. You know I want my family. You trying to get out of paying. Now tell me about this. Woman don't want you. You want him?
There was a lot going on at the time.
She want her money. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie. Yes, there was a lot of cheating going on. I did a lot of cheating. She also did a lot of cheating herself as well. It was just.
Did you bring a woman to the baby's funeral while you all were still together?
It was a coworker, Your Honor. It was a coworker.
You weren't dealing with her?
No, I was not.
And she didn't ask about it or anything? You never asked him about it?
Before our daughter passed away, I seen text messages between the two of them, and I had suspected
friendly
that
text messages, co-worker text messages. It was nothing too serious.
All right.
Same old story.
I didn't think you would be like that, sir.
But we was doing a lot of grieving at the time. When our daughter passing away, like, I did a lot of self-medicating with alcohol and marijuana. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Okay. I'm glad that's all you went to is alcohol and weed.
Well,
You went further than that?
no, I have not.
Okay, good.
She also had a little self-medicating herself. With
Nothing
drugs,
beyond alcohol and weed, hopefully.
a little bit of cocaine.
Is that right? You
No.
turned to cocaine?
No, I did that long before I had kids.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
So,
And so I can understand you being traumatized by that. You went down to a life of a downward spiral.
yes, heavy
Understandable.
drinking. Yes, I did. But I changed my life around.
When?
Over the last couple of years, actually.
Okay.
I started realizing that I need to be a better parent.
And you
noticed-
sincerely wanted your family back, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, I do believe that. And, sorry to hear everything that happened to you. It's hard to stand in judgment of your lifestyle and the destructive ways having experienced what you experienced. So I'm going to leave you alone on that because that's pretty tough experience to go through. And I do know that people oftentimes, when they're traumatized, they turn to alcohol and drugs to ease the pain, self-medication. People wonder why there's so many folks in impoverished communities that are on drugs. Certainly poverty is painful. You can't feed your children, you can't feed your family, and they're looking in your face every day, Daddy, why can't I get these gym shoes like all the other kids? Why can't I get this and that and the other? Your wife bugging you to death. Go out and get a job. You ain't nothing. You ain't no good. Yeah, you're going to say, oh, I'll be right back. Instead of getting a job, you're going to go and get you a hit to ease that pain away. I feel good now. So it's no mystery as to how all this is occurring. First, the availability of the drugs, then the poverty that causes the pain to make one desire the drugs to escape the pain.
Plaintiff Jacqueline Rice dated the defendant, and she claims after their daughter passed away, he showed up to her funeral with another woman.
Tell me about the child support, the specifics.
In 2008, I had put him on child support for our oldest, Adrian. And after our daughter had passed away, Children's Services had put us both on child support. And then when I regained custody of my oldest son, they shifted it back over onto him. That was in 2010. So whenever it shifted it back over to him, he was like $21,000 in child support behind in 2016. They issued a warrant out for his arrest.
21,000.
Yes. He was out on a PR bond. We went to court, and that's when they started garnishing his wages.
Good.
He's currently at $12,000 now. So he has gotten it down, but it was because of the garnishment of the wages.
What do you say, sir? This is since 2010.
Since 2010 to 2014, I was not able to keep a steady job.
How did you survive for 4 years?
I pretty much found ins and out jobs. Like I worked at a liquor store under the table.
What's your level of training?
Really, I didn't have no training at that
So in
time.
the 4 years that you couldn't afford to pay child support because you didn't have a steady income, why didn't you go and get some training so that you would be eligible for a job that you could be paid enough to feed your family?
At the time, I did not have the correct education.
Right, I know. That's why I said you had 4 years though that you were doing nothing. Remember? That's what you just said.
I mean,
you said from 2010 to 2014, I did nothing.
I
That's
didn't
what
do
you
nothing.
just said. You said I did a little this and a little that every now and then.
I mean, I had regular jobs. It's just I couldn't.
That's
keep
not
a-
what you said.
I said I couldn't keep a steady job
Why?
because it was just hard at the time.
Hard to do what?
Just whatever they needed me to do. Like
The work was too hard?
No, it's just certain jobs was just not fit for me. Like
What was unfit about them?
just
So much so that you didn't want to feed your child. What was unfit about the jobs?
it was just the employers and the coworkers.
All the employers? 4 years worth of employers were not a good fit enough for you to get some money to feed your baby?
I mean, it was not just that either. It was just
What?
It was the point that I did not want to support the man she was with at that time either.
What they got to do with the man? You asked him to support the man?
No.
Your Honor, I was only in my 20s. I was young. I didn't know any better.
How old are you now?
I'm 33. I was
Well,
only
you got a
21.
lot of excuses, sir. And this is the only one I'll consider reasonable. All that other stuff is nonsense. And you say the back balance is $12,000?
Yes, sir.
Is that true, sir? Let me see what you
I
have.
believe so.
All right, and the maximum we can give you today, ma'am, is $5,000.
That's fine.
Yeah, $6,600 and then $5,500, sir. All right, sir. You gotta get this child support money. All this was not a good fit. Everything got to be a good fit for you. Because if you don't, you're going to jail. They'll lock you up if you don't pay your child support. Then you go to jail and the child is not fed. I don't care how you do it. Whatever you gotta do. Judgment for the plaintiff.
I respect Jason, and I respect that he's trying to step up to the plate, but he needs to do a little bit better of a job. That's all.
I love having another second chance, but obviously that's not going to happen. So I guess I'll just try to be the better dad that I can be.